Tomorrow night, 18 years in the making, Impact Wrestling is bound. Bound for glory. Whoop. Forgot something. Hang on, folks. I forgot a match to put on here. There we go. Anyway, as I was saying, this takes place tomorrow night, and we will be looking live from the Washington Avenue National Guard Armory in Albany, New York. Let's run down this card. Opening match in the pre-show, Brian Myers defending the digital media title against, we don't know, it could be anybody. For those who don't know what this digital media title is, it was something that was introduced last year. Here, the champion, this is a title that can be defended against anybody in any weight class of any gender. Yes, this title is gender neutral. And for those who know me, know I don't like gender neutral titles. Why? Because it shows how badly woke a company is willing to stoop. Low a company is willing to stoop to get woke. And you know the old saying, get woke, go broke. That said, strangely, most of the title challengers Brian Myers has had have been men. I don't know who he's going to defend against, but I have a feeling he's going to find some way to cheat to keep the title on his waist. So I'll go Brian Myers to retain the gold. Next match, the 20 wrestler intergender gauntlet battle, gender neutral battle royale, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. This will have 20 wrestlers, a mix of men and women in the ring at the same time. You're eliminated by getting thrown over the top with both your feet hitting the floor. The last individual standing gets a trophy, and a contract, which they can invoke anytime for a year for a championship match of their choosing. And it doesn't have to be the world or knockouts title. It could be the tag titles or even the digital media title or even the X Division championship. That's what makes this one a little more interesting to me than Money in the Bank that the WWE has. Thank God they got rid of the Feast. Impact got rid of Feast or Fire. That was a dumb concept, in my opinion. For those who don't know what Feast or Fire was, it was essentially a similar concept, except there were 4 briefcases hanging above the ring. 3 of them contained title shots for the World, Tag, and X Division titles, but the 4th one contained a pink slip. If you were unlucky enough to grab the contract that had the pink slip, you were gone from Impact. Christopher Daniels would know what that's like, as he's had the pink slip contract twice. Once as himself and once as Curry Man. Embarrassing, isn't it? Anyway, we don't have all 20 participants, but here's who we do have who have thrown their hats into the Call Your Shot as of now. PCO, Rich Swann, Giselle Shaw, Heath, Gunderberg Gujar, Bobby Fish, Moose, Steve Macklin, Sami Callihan. So we have roughly half the field already announced. Who's going to make up the other half? I'm going to say people like Savannah Evans, Kiera Hogan, Alicia Edwards, Diener, Eric Young, as much as he hates being put in this spot. Vincent of Honor No More. See, Alicia, Savannah, Kiera, Vincent, Diener, Young. So I've mentioned 6 names. We still need 4 more. Maybe W. Moore. No, wait, Morrissey's in AEW now, so he's off the table. Maybe Killer Kelly. Yuya Uemura, perhaps. Crazy Steve. Black Taurus, the Laredo Kid. I mean, that could make up the other half of this. I mean, those people can make up the other half. But who's my pick to win? I'm tossing it up between Moose, Callahan, Fish, and Macklin. But if I had to pick a logical decision, I'm going to go with Steve Macklin. Next up, first legit title match on the card. Speedball Mike Bailey defending the X Division title against Frankie Kazarian. My buddy Speedball has been a fighting champion since winning it back at Slammiversary almost 4 months ago. But he's been running himself ragged at this point. He's barely held the title over 100 days. He's had 9 successful defenses. He's looking to break Christopher Daniels' defense record of 13. I gave him the idea last night that if he got to 13, he'd call out Christopher Daniels to see if he could break the record. But to do that, he's got to get through Kazarian first. And since Kazarian's predominantly an AEW guy, I'm pretty sure Scott D'Amore doesn't want another title held hostage by Tony Khan ever again. I'm going to take Speedball Mike Bailey to retain the X Division Championship. Chelsea Greene and Deonna Purrazzo, vexed, defend the Impact Knockouts tag titles against the Death Dolls, Jessika, Havok, and Taya Valkyrie with Rosemary. Personally, I think this is where the trigger needs to be pulled to turn Rosemary completely heel. She's been getting frustrated with Jessika being buddy-buddy and showing a more light-hearted personality around Taya instead of being the dark and intimidating bruiser she is as Havok. And that she used to be as Jessika Havok. The Havok half is pretty much gone due to Taya's influence, and that has pissed Rosemary off. I think they're going to pull the trigger and turn her heel. In which case I'm taking Vexed to retain the Knockout Tag titles and Rosemary to go off on her own. Next up, the career-threatening match. Mia Yim against Mickie James. If Mickie loses, she will retire from in-ring competition. I mean, I had a feeling this was going down the Ric Flair road path. Personally, I think what better way for Mickie to close out her career than going down at Bound for Glory? This is going to have the feel of Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24. Or back in 2008. And we all know how that ended. I'm sorry. I love you. And I think Mia is going to say the same thing. Knock Mickie down. 1, 2, 3. I'm taking Mia Yim to win and end Mickie James's career. Now keep in mind, this card hasn't been fully set yet. There could be additional matches added to it. I'm just going by what's available right now. I could have done this tomorrow morning, but I decided to do it now. Impact Tag Title match. Honor No More, represented by the OGK, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, with Maria Kanellis Bennett, Mike's wife, in their corner, defend the titles against Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm going to take Honor No More to retain the tag titles. Mostly because I do believe there's going to be heavy interference from Maria, and if not her, the rest of Honor No More at one point or another. Though, granted, I do think Kenny King, PCO, and Vincent are going to be licking their wounds and patching themselves up after what happens in the Call Your Shot. If any member of Honor No More wins, you know they're going to cash it in and cash that Call Your Shot Gauntlet trophy on either the Guns, should they win the tag titles, which I don't think will be the case, or if it's Kenny who wins it, he's going to cash it in on Speedball. He's going to cash it in on Speedball the night of, which I don't want to see happen. That said, let's move on. Jordynne Grace against Masha Slamovich for the Impact Knockouts World title. Knockouts title. Recently, each went through a Pick Your Poison match. At Victory Road, Jordynne Grace took on, I believe it was Savannah Evans, and won. Non-title, of course. As Pick Your Poison match against Giselle Shaw in a Pick Your Poison match. Which, as in case of Pick Your Poison matches involving champions, where the champion's the victim of the poison, the title is usually not at stake because that would cheat their challenger out of the title opportunity. Which I understand completely. On the other hand, Masha is coming off last week where she went through a monster's ball with one of the most vicious independent female wrestlers I know. And I've actually seen in action once recently back in August. That woman in question was the infamous Alley Catch. The Alley Catch. And she barely managed to survive that match. My pick to win, to make Masha look like the monster she is, give the W to Slamovich. Das Vidania, Jordynne. I'm taking, in one of the only two title changes on the night, Masha Slamovich to walk out of Albany with the Knockouts World title in hand. And you can probably guess what the other one is. For the Impact World title, the challenger, the leader of Honor No More, Eddie Edwards. At the back up his words, when he challenges the world champion of Impact Wrestling, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, who's held on to the title for about 5.5, maybe 6 months. This is all built over the fact that in Josh's mind, Eddie double-crossed Impact by siding with Honor No More. For Eddie, it's all about the fact that in his mind, when Kenny Omega was the world champion last year, he got Scott D'Amore passed him over for a crack to get the title back from Omega. Both arguments are sound. But considering the challengers Josh Alexander has had to overcome in recent weeks, let's run through his recent string of matches is in the database. And I'm looking at Impact World title matches. Not his DWW title matches. Dating back to after he won the title at Rebellion in April. TV taping, he defeated Moose to retain. Under Siege in Kentucky, he defeated Josh Alexander. Slammiversary At DWW, he retained against Gabriel Fuerza. Not sure if Impact will recognize that defense, but either way, that's 3. Defeated Eric Young at Slammiversary. Retained against Aiden Pierce for, what's this promotion? Greektown, GPW, Greektown Pro. Retained against Joe Doring at Against All Odds. Retained against Jacob Fatu in a no contest at Ric Flair's last match. Retained against Alex Shelley at Emergence. Retained against Bundaber Gujar at Greektown. Retained against Masha Slamovich. Retained against one called Manners in at Pro Wrestling Revolver. And that was his most recent defense. In total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 title defenses since he won the title back at Rebellion on April 23rd. Though only about half of those are going to be recognized by Impact, at least in my opinion. If you only go with the Impact show defenses alone, Josh has retained it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times. I don't think he gets number 12 tomorrow night. Eddie's going to have the entirety of Honor No More at his back. They're going to run as much interference as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if Bobby Fish comes in and then screws Josh. Now, for those wondering why I would say Bobby Fish would join Honor No More, to give context, during one of Eddie's earlier stints in Pro Wrestling Noah, what man did he help get a foot in the door at Ring of Honor in 2012? Fish. They were tag partners in Noah and pretty successful as a tag team in Noah. But during their early days in that promotion. So, by that logic, I do see Bobby Fish coming out and screwing Josh Alexander out of the title. So, yeah, through that metric, I am taking Eddie Edwards, as much as I don't want him to, win the Impact World title and become a 3-time Impact World Heavyweight Champion. Now, Macklin cashing in the Call Your Shot depends on one of two things. One thing. Who leaves the world title match as the champion? If it's Josh, he's cashing in on him. If it's Eddie, he might cash in, but probably not going to. But he's probably not going to since both are heels. My lock of the pick of the paper, to quote an old friend of mine who was on here from 2007 to 2010, in my lock of the pick of the pay-per-view, lock it up. No, you lock it up. You better lock it up. Lock it up, pick of the pay-per-view. Eddie Edwards to walk out of Albany with the Impact World Heavyweight Championship on his waist. And it'll be a dark day for Impact Wrestling. That's all I got. Leave a comment, smash a like, sub to the channel. Mets2128 signing out. Goodbye. Good night. Bang. And let's see how this all plays out tomorrow.